The Arabian Travel Market is one of the most important events on Dubai's exhibition calendar, highlighting both the importance of tourism and the meetings and events sector to the local economy. On today's Inside AB, I'm joined by Nick Pilbeam, Divisional Director of Reed Travel Exhibitions, to discuss what more ATM can bring to the table. Thanks very much indeed for joining us today, Nick.
Pleasure.
Firstly, can you summarise who Reed Travel Exhibitions are and what your Middle East portfolio is?
Absolutely. So Reed Travel Exhibitions is the biggest organiser for travel and tourism events in the world. We have 20 events now in 15 countries, so it's a fantastic, diverse portfolio covering the leisure, luxury and meetings and events, tourism and travel markets. In the Middle East, we've got a fantastic portfolio. We have Arabian Travel Market, a huge event. It's been here now for 25 years in Dubai, which we're very proud of, but that's also supplemented by our luxury event, ILTM Arabia, which we launched alongside ATM fairly recently. And we also have a meetings and events event, IBTM Arabia in Abu Dhabi.
We had ATM back in April this year. Can you tell us a little bit about the scale of the event, number of meetings that you had, the visitors that came through the door, the transactions that were conducted at last year's event?
It was our 25th anniversary, so we've been running it for that long with fantastic support from the stakeholders here in the region. And we had a great show. It was the biggest in history, which is a fantastic achievement for 25 years. We had fantastic visitor growth, particularly the international visitors traveling from outside of the region to come to Dubai to look at the local product in the Middle East. So overall, a stellar edition, but we're not going to rest on our laurels, and we've got some new things in the pipeline for 2019.
Well, you're obviously in town here for some meetings about next year's show. Is there anything you can tell us about what's on the agenda for next year's show?
Can't tell you everything, but the things we're planning are a whole bunch of new exhibitors, new products, new destinations. We're targeting some really interesting new visitor groups never seen before at the show. We've also got a big theme about technology. It's such a powerful influence and disruptor in the industry at the moment, so we're going to make that our key theme for 2019. And last but not least, we're going to look after people's careers and education. So we launch Careers in Travel for students, and we're going to be having our next generation of that program for next year as well.
Can you give us an overview of just how important ATM is to the regional tourism economy? I mean, the UAE alone, it accounts for 5.2% of the whole GDP, which is $190 billion. It's a big thing. Sort of, what role does ATM play in that?
I think ATM's played a pivotal role in the growth in the region, particularly in Dubai. If you look at the development of the destination from a tourism perspective, it's seen phenomenal growth over the last 25 years particularly, and ATM's role in that cannot be understated. I think one of the very interesting things about the GCC and the UAE particularly is people here understand the value of tourism. They understand the impact on the economy, the impact on jobs. So globally, tourism drives 1 in 10 jobs worldwide, which is phenomenal. The growth industry is going through a very healthy period, both internationally at 7% last year, which is fantastic, but also in the region. So I think it's a great time. I think ATM has contributed to that growth. But actually, if you look at some of the mega projects coming up with Expo 2020 very soon coming here to Dubai, but also some of the major projects coming online in Saudi Arabia and the Red Sea, I think it's another fantastic period for another burst of growth.
I mean, the event itself is a big tourism drive when you talk about the number of exhibitors coming in, the number of delegates that are coming in, the hotel rooms booked and so on and so forth. How big an event is ATM in terms of contributing to the MICE landscape and the sector in the region? You're
absolutely right. I mean, if you think about the number of flights, seats filled, the hotels filled, I think ATM drives one of the highest hotel occupancies in Dubai during the week that we have in April. So fantastic impact on the region. But it's not just that. If you think about the economic impact, so we haven't had this year's figures yet for 18, but in 2017, ATM alone had over $2 billion worth of business done at the show. So that's a phenomenal result that we're very proud about, but that just shows the value and the commercial value of that event.
How is the meetings and the exhibition landscape changing? Obviously, we're in a very much a technologically driven world. How important are the face-to-face meetings that exhibitions like this generate?
It's a great question. So, you might think, is technology going to disrupt the face-to-face angle? All of our research shows that, particularly in travel, face-to-face is very important. It's a hospitality industry worldwide, and if you look at the GCC culture, it's very much a deep-rooted hospitality culture. So, face-to-face is here to stay, and that's proven by the growth rates that we're seeing. But I think we can do more and are doing more. And how do we bring technology to bear to match our exhibitors and our buyers more effectively, to add value in terms of the trends in the industry? So we're doing much more in a technology experience and data perspective, but face-to-face is still very powerful and here to stay.
I was going to say, some of those technologies that are coming in with VR is obviously going to be something, virtual reality is going to be something big in the events industry. Are you harnessing some of those technologies?
We are. There's a lot going on in the world, and a lot of talk about AR and VR and AI particularly. And actually what we're seeing in terms of transit technology is there's all the new cool tech that's out there, but actually the issue that the industry has is how do they connect the new stuff with the legacy? There's a lot of legacy tech out there, so we're actually positioning our tech programs to help people make it a reality rather than talk about blue sky. What may happen in the future is how do you make the most of AI today, but with your existing IT real estate?
So with all that in mind then, what's the Reed strategy going forward for the Middle East? What can we look forward to in terms of deepening your connection to the region?
Well, it's a key market for us, partly because of the growth rate, but also the fact that we feel there's a lot of opportunity to add new things to ATM for next year. So we're not resting on our laurels of 25 years. The 26th edition, and you're right, it's one of the reasons I'm here, is to look at what we're doing next. So we're expecting to reveal some new additions never seen before at ATM for 2019. And actually we're investing quite heavily in the event and in the region because it's the right time and a good opportunity to do that. And we've got fantastic support from our partners to do so.
You have the 3 events. Any plans to add more, maybe here or in the Manasseh region as a whole?
Not just yet. We're asked a lot to launch new events. So at the moment, we've launched our luxury event, ILTM Arabia, fairly recently, and that's going exceptionally well and has been received very well by the region. I think for now, that's enough. I think what's important is that we widen our scope in terms of the total value chain for travel, but that probably will be within our existing events for 2019. But we are always looking at opportunities. But I think for the time being, we're going to focus on how do we grow ATM, how do we add some new topics and new areas to that, and also our IBTM Arabia event in Abu Dhabi.
Many thanks indeed for joining us today on Inside AB, Nick. We should look forward to those plans coming to fruition in the near future. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you all for watching and join us every day for more Inside AB.